YouTube, what's up? Alright, now as far as cultivars go, because again, a cultivar is anything that was cultivated by man. A cultigen is also a product of man. Anybody that's unfamiliar with that, I'll get you into that real quick right now. Alright, a cultivar is something that has been taken from its natural state and manipulated to either make it taste a certain way, look a certain way, feel a certain way as far as textures, what have you, or all three, or everything as above. So basically, you have manufactured food. Manufactured food. That's what a cultivar is. The only nutrients you get from a cultivar, because a cultivar has a root system that is poor, a root system that is basically does nothing. It basically just holds the plant in place pretty much because it it can't even assimilate the minerals in the ground into food for itself because it's not a natural plant. It can't convert the iron in the soil into a liquid iron for itself, and then you consume it and eat the iron. It's like oxides or the rock form of a mineral, like people call it ferrous sulfate iron. That's not iron. That is the rock oxide form, and the plant is supposed to convert that into something to where you could eat it. But if it's a cultivar, it is no way it's even getting that done. Only nutrients that plant is getting is from the sun and of course from the water and wind. Now, the melanin rain or the melanin shower from the sun is, that is crucial. That is a critical thing. But when we're talking about carbohydrates or what people call carbs, we got to break down the word again, carbon hydration. So carbon being melanin, the sun being melanin, ultraviolet, basically, dark matter. It's just melanin. So you have these plants performing photosynthesis to feed themselves off of this melanin, and you have basically moisture, which is another form of melanin. So that is the only nutrient that's coming in any of these fruits that we're getting these days. They're all fake. They're pretty much placebo, like a sugar pill. It's pretty much, it's sugar at the end of the day, and sugar feeds parasites. What you're really trying to get is the fiber and the moisture to those lower bowels. That's really the only benefit of eating fruit, really, in general, at this point, because you're not really getting anything from it. I mean, maybe some sunlight, maybe some melanin sunlight that it trapped for you that you could get yourself if you stood outside. But no doubt, you get it just to help flush as a transitional period. But that's what's going on. You got to realize that any plant that didn't bring itself into existence is of man. It is manufactured. It is not natural. If it didn't bring itself into existence, meaning we don't know how this plant got here, it is not a natural plant. That's what you got to understand. Any plant with a birth date is a plant that is created, harvested, basically made in a lab. Google Gregor Mendel. He made most of the beans, if you like to eat beans. Plenty of people, plenty of so-called botanists that were supposedly geniuses, really violators, and they created these plants like the watermelon we see today. It's so far from the natural watermelon of Botswana and Zimbabwe. It's so far from that natural state. It's fake. It's just there to make you feel full and to get moisture-rich fiber to lower parts of the bowels so you can help flush. That is the only benefit of any of these fruits, really, in reality. The color that comes from the fruit is, of course, like the reds or whatever. That's all just from the melanin, from the sun itself. So you got to realize that it's really you're really after the moisture, the carbon hydration, the carbohydration, or whatever, carbohydrates, whatever, what have you. So that is the separation there. That just to break down the word so people can understand that a little better or understand that and realize that the fruits, any form of sugar, fructose, feeds parasites and just keeps you wanting to eat, and it just keeps you in that state because you're going to go through that. You're going to break homeostasis and go through that battle of hypoglycemia constantly trying to maintain blood sugar, constantly trying to keep a constant, impossible rate because, again, sugar is just breaking ketosis every single time you eat any type of sugar. You're breaking homeostasis, breaking ketosis. The body now has to address the sugars and can't address the toxins and the fats, the mucus, mucoid plaque, cholesterol, whatever, what have you. All the different names for the same things here we always get at. always arguing over this. It's the same things we're getting at, different language being used. So it's no point in really arguing. But when it comes to the fruits themselves, that's what we really have to realize. Or any of these plants, they're all cultivars. So we want older, more natural plants. The more natural, the less the less the body has to do to make it complete. So you have something like the dandelion root. It's not going to be 100% what it would have been, but the body doesn't have to go as far to make it whole, to make it function, to remind, change the environment of the body so the body can now be reminded of its natural state. So you take something like I don't know, like a watermelon or a honeydew or any of these cultivars or a banana or any of these things that are cultivated and created. They are going to, the sugar's going to give you a rush. And of course, the further it is from the vine, the less nutrients it's going to have. I mean, the further you are from picking it and putting it right in your body, the further you are from the electricity. You got to remember that too. They're picking the bananas green. If you're not eating a banana damn near black, it's had like no potassium. You can't just say that this has that and this has that because of one study someone may have done on a banana or something at a certain time in its progress, or maybe from the natural source, like, oh, this banana has this, but the cultivated one is basically a bar of sugar, a mucus stick. So you just got to understand that. You got to realize that it's just you're after the moisture, you're after the carbon hydration, you're after that electricity, that melanin, what have you, whatever you want to call it. So you eat these things, they're going to throw off homeostasis and they just tip the scale, and that creates a compensation, because anything that's not complete will take something from you to make it complete, to make it so it can be processed. So anything that is more and more broken will require more from your body, which will mean you will have to look, seek, search, chase more instead of seeing, being, attracting. So it'll be more of a you on a hamster wheel. You're constantly trying to compensate, and you just never really in homeostasis. And then once you break the sugar, you stay off the sugar for a moment, your body's going into ketosis. You're probably going to feel like shit. You're probably going to feel terrible. It's going to get worse before it gets better, in that sense. So any sugar in that sense, fruit sugars being the best, they are the best. They're compared to isolated sugar, but sugar is still sugar, and you got to realize that it's a cultivar, so it has been created to be more sweet. If you ate it in the natural environment, it might not even taste the way it would have tasted because it's so far from natural. So again, ROYALT512@yahoo.com for the PDFs. Arbud Vegan on Amazon for the ebooks. That's 28 of them. Again, sleep paralysis, socially paralyzed, and it's plenty on there. So check it out. ROYALT512@yahoo.com. Taylor Budd on Facebook. gzuscryst19 on IG.